Alright everyone, what is up? My name is Mekaniko and welcome back to the channel for yet another Learn Warhammer with me, and this time it is by Trazyn the Infinite. I hope I've said that right. I have no idea. I don't even know who Trazyn the Infinite is right now, so this is going to be an interesting one. This is by Warrior Tier, so thank you so much, and I can't wait to see what this is about because a lot of you have been recommending this video in particular on my channel, so I've trusted you guys. I've trusted you. So let's get in there and learn some more. If I have any questions, by the way, you know what to do. Drop it in the comments. And without further ado, let's dive in. Warrior Tier presents. Narrated by Matthew J. Plum. Ooh.
My life's work. My museum. Our gallery. Within these halls sits the galaxy's most comprehensive collection of artifacts in existence. I have spent my long years cataloging the entire culture of all the beings I could, from the dawn of time to the present day. Within these halls are libraries, containing the last known words of countless races who have been cast to the harsh, uncaring winds of time. Truth be told, there are more galleries in my museum than a mortal could wish to visit in several lifetimes. Each hall is dedicated to a great empire and their achievements.
We're gonna be here a
but
while
also
then.
their faults and inevitable demise. The history of the universe is filled with such empires, their names forever carved on the steel of time. There are others who accomplished little with their gift of life, their existences being short, painful, blighted tales. The tales of history are only reserved for those
Necrons,
who
right?
earn the right to write them. I will show the halls of my library to guide you on the story of all of time. As we start from the dawn of all existence.
Big Bang. Let's go. The history of the universe. What a lovely voice this narrator has, as told by Trazyn the Infinite.
Density, temperature, a singularity, initiating the expansion. Primordial gas and cosmic dust sent into eternity to become everything we know or ever will.
Wow. This is epic. Video hasn't even started yet.
Gravity is the key to it all. Gravity birthed the stars. It connects the galaxies, guiding them in motion to their inevitable orbits, that haunting cosmic ballet played out over infinite millennia. Forever churning in the restless flow of time, locked in the embrace of gravitational unity. Vast ages of time pass. Ancient evolution forms in the stars. Gravity guides worlds beyond count into existence. As the stars collapsed and more were driven into the infinite, the impossible happened.
What happened?
The first true life in the universe emerged, victorious, in an arms race of evolutionary barbarism. I suppose I should introduce the Immaterium, the Sea of Souls, the Ether. It has many names. However, it is generally referred to as the Warp, an alternate dimension that has existed as long as the universe itself. Made up of pure psychic energy and raw emotions, the warp is endless, unpredictable, and terribly dangerous to those who cannot harness its power.
So, when the universe was created, the warp was also created alongside it? But he just said it was just pure psychic power and, like, emotion, but was there anything in the world at that point that had emotion? Or was man even existing, or a species? So I'm wondering how, if that is all it, takes to basically fuel it, where did that originally come from? Or was it kind of like the Big Bang, it just comes from a singularity and after that it needed this to survive? I might be overcomplicating things, but I have questions.
The first conscious life was the star vampires, self-aware entities that appeared in the void between nowhere and nothing. Beings of great power that consumed the energies of stars, feeding on the life force of the planets themselves. These parasites do not differ from any life in the universe. All life desires the same outcome: energy consumption and safety for their offspring. They would, with time, be known as the Catan.
Ah, okay. Heard of them.
The cursed reptilian Old Ones scraped their primal forms onto the shores of worlds, long dead before even we Necrons evolved to stand upright. The first true sentient beings to cross the vast reaches of the galaxy. They were the first to climb the long trail of evolution and self-awareness. Their ceaseless advances placed them at the top of the pyramid in this galaxy. They traveled through the stars like dust travels on the breeze, and even built what younger races would call the Webway. Through the Webway, the Old Ones seeded life on hundreds of worlds. In their wake, they birthed countless untold species and cultures.
Wow. Okay, so Trazyn the Infinite, is he a Necron? Is that what he said? I think it is. That's kind of cool. Okay. I'm gonna have to do a little Google of him literally this very second. Ah, okay. Okay, I have it here. On Warhammer 40k wiki, Trazyn, also known as Trazyn the Infinite, is a Necron overlord and the self-proclaimed reading is hard, archaeovist of the Solemnus galleries on the Necron tomb world of Solemnus. Ah, okay. Okay. That's when he was saying I'm looking into my museum. Okay. Makes sense now. The preserver of the galaxy's histories. Oh wow. Okay, I wish I had googled that before. And also before this, I was like searching for someone called Trazyn the Infinite on YouTube. Like I was looking for like a person on YouTube called this, not an actual person in Warhammer. So yeah, my bad. I'm really sorry. I just wanted to be honest with you guys, okay? But anyway, let's continue. I am enthralled in this. Like this is awesome. I'm loving this one so far. Thank you so much.
Life was cruel to our species. I need not tell you that. Evolving upon a cursed world, falling victim to the scorching heat of our nearest star, withering our bodies and lives. Our suffering evolved our culture and history. We built our empire despite the struggle and endless pain. We were worthy of the gifts the stars had shown to the others. Our leaders met with the Old Ones. We begged for the cure to death, to show us the secrets of immortality.
He didn't give it to them.
They refused us.
Yeah.
Refused our desire for life. And, in their ignorance, they doomed themselves. There was no choice for us. We waged war against the tyrants. Countless generations ground to powder beneath the heel of the greedy and the vicious. Even with our unified empire, even with the might of countless worlds and millions of genius warsmiths, the strength of our dynasties was not enough to defeat the Old Ones. The war was lost. The greatest defeat being that we were still cursed to weak, frail lives. The Old Ones banished us to the edges of the galaxy. They forced us into exile on our home world. It was then that the Catan came with their offer.
Ooh. Okay, so we're going into a bit more detail about this. Like, I did know that the Necrons approached the Old Ones and they said no. And there was a massive war and it was just very one-sided. So, okay, but they exiled them from their own home. I mean, it's a good thing that they didn't just completely wipe them out to extinction. So, I'm saying that, but would death have been an easier solution than to suffer as they did?
The ancient beings of the cosmos had appeared. They came as gods, promising the gifts we desperately sought.
Damn.
We were all fools to believe them. After the agreements were signed, our people were put in chains and marched into the furnaces. As our flesh and blood was ripped from our bodies, we became the machine. We were betrayed.
Oh.
The Catan.
Okay, now I'm seeing. So they were more like kind of flesh and blood before, and all the images that you see of the Necrons with their kind of like plates and stuff, that was after what the Catan did with their deal, and they had no idea. Oh, we're learning so much more.
Those traitorous sun-eating dogs feasted on the souls of a whole race, an entire culture. How tragic then that the ambassador for the Catan was named a deceiver, but our translators misunderstood and believed its name was a messenger.
That's awkward.
The God War, the breaking of the void, the war in heaven. 5 million years of hate and flame. The Old Ones were driven back by the combined force of the Catan and us, their steel slaves. Wherever we Necron tread, life fades like a distant spark in a cold night. The Old Ones, those fools, they grew desperate, creating the Eldar to help them in their losing war. A race of decadent, hedonistic artists to fight steel gods. Fools. They created the fierce Krork, a species that thrives on war and the desire for war. Little did they know of the plague they were creating. And on a small habitable world, it was said that they also seeded baseline primate life. As the last defense strongholds are on the verge of collapse, after we have flayed the minds and spirits of countless Old Ones, they formed their last doomed battle line. As the Old Ones were pushed into oblivion, Zarek, the Silent King, led our armies against our slave masters. We turned on the Catan. The Catan were weakened by the war against the Old Ones and the threats of the Eldari and Krork armies. The Catan were shattered, defeated and placed in our stasis chambers, made to watch from containment as the race they sought to enslave freed themselves.
Oh.
The mighty Catan were not much more than prisoners, forced to watch us live on.
Oh, that is a lot to take in. Oh my gosh. So we're seeing it through the point of view of a Necron, which is just... This is really good. And okay, even with the old ones being like, right, I'm just gonna create so many new species to help us. It was just not enough. Like, what happened? Like, did the Eldari and the Krorks, I mean, Eldar and Orcs, I'm guessing, they are also known as, or more commonly to me. Did they help at all, or when they created them, they kind of just left and did their own thing? Wow.
Despite their evil desire. Weakened from the wars, we face the new threats of the multiple upstart races.
Okay.
The Eldari, the Krork, and so many more. The Silent King decided our fate. We were to wait in silence as our armies rebuilt. We need not fear time like our puny carbon-based enemies. It is during this time the Eldari developed their technology at an exponential rate, becoming the dominant force in the universe. It seemed they had advanced their species to immortality.
Cool.
But how long could they sustain their own desires? I admit, I am partial to the Eldari.
Same.
Their great works are unrivaled. Their ability to will a world into being is haunting. We must speak about the so-called human element, as their empires take up many halls of my museum. Though sometimes unhinged and unpredictable, they are interesting and present true promise for us. We will cover much of their history, difficult as it is with the conflicting dates set by the Imperium itself. But no matter, we will account their records from our own sources.
Okay.
Imperial records will be our guide. Or should I say, those Imperial records which I have procured will be our guide.
How did he procure them?
I always found them to be of great amusement. They had begun on a small Class 54415 planet, on the edge of the galactic arm of the Milky Way.
Terra.
They had first crawled from the primordial ooze as advanced water-based life. To think that glorified fish now wrap the galaxy in an iron fist is enough to burn my central processors to solder. However, as we slept, these fish people became baseline primates, Class 4 beings. For much of their early existence, the primitives accomplished little. It was their use of tools that separated them from the other animals of creation. From the first moment a cave-dwelling savage struck a porcine variant with a rock, it was all over. Slowly, they invented pottery and the bringer of security, that is fire. It was then that the warp entities had emerged from the void, the first knowledge of the immaterium. The damage from our wars against gods had ripped wounds in the universe. From these wounds came the apparent gods, extremely powerful creatures that bask in the souls of the dead, growing ever in power. The mortals referred to the beings as the Chaos Gods. They were named Khorne, Tzeentch, and Nurgle. What are three more pathetic void beings against the might of this galaxy? We have killed greater beings before.
Oh, okay, so he's saying that we have killed greater beings before, so is he of the belief that they are not as powerful and can be overcome? I asked this previously in another video. It's like, can you kill the Chaos Gods? And I had some wonderful answers. Some things about the Emperor, saying that if he died, he would then be able to become one of these gods and like, truly, well, defeat them. And then I had other answers saying you would have to rid the world of everything that they feed on, starve them. So would that mean that beings itself would have to cease to exist? Well, I mean, it's a good question. Good question.
We may have to do so again. It is at this point that the Eldari learned the secrets of the webway and continued their dominance of the stars. The imperial myth concerning the birth of their god-emperor is as follows. Seeing the inevitable fate of humanity to be consumed by the Chaos Gods, A group of humanist shamans banded together to stop this future. They had devised a plan to save their species from the thirsting gods committing ritualized mass self-annihilation. As the shamans died and their souls entered the warp, the power of the souls overwhelmed the beings that inhabited that dead void. The soul of their soon-to-be emperor was birthed and made manifest in his physical form. I must add here, this is perhaps one of my favorite twists of fate in all of history. Deep within a black stone complex, which crashed on Mars before the rise of humanity, is the Noctis Labyrinth. Within walls built 65 million years ago by us, lies the ancient Void Dragon. Imperial myth tells us that it is believed that the Emperor conquered this dragon on Terra. After this defeat, it was imprisoned beneath Mars for all time. Little do they know, those red-robed clicking iron princes, that their Void Dragon is a Catan let loose by corrupted slumber codes. I wonder how they would react to the news that its real name is the Eater of Knowledge. The humans began their empire on Terra.
Okay, I just want to go quickly back. I was just processing all of that. I haven't heard anything about this dragon. Yeah, I've not seen anything about that so far in any of the videos I've watched. Okay, so the Catan had this dragon, and okay, I got a bit confused because it said it was locked on Mars, and then it was killed by the Emperor. Is that correct? Or was you can't kill it and it was then put on Mars? Someone please explain this new piece of information I have, please.
Their grasp of technology is slow. They spend much of their time throwing sharpened tree pieces at each other. Terra had a multitude of cultures, each one's god more important than the other. It was during this time that the Chaos Gods had fully awakened. With the abundance of new souls, the Chaos Gods had grown stronger. One human myth is that these events in their early years manifested the gods. Khorne was born in the charnel pits of millions of dead humans. Nurgle vomited into the universe in the wake of the vast catalogue of their illnesses. And Tzinch during the artistic awakening periods of each unique Terran culture. How arrogant to think that the universe would notice their tiny conflicts. Humans had conquered their homeworld. They had experimented with the possibilities of travel through the immaterial, still unsure of how to harness its power for space travel. They had developed primitive spacefaring capabilities and set off to terraform their solar system. They have always been amusing creatures, thinking themselves masters of the cosmos, even back when fire was their most advanced achievement.
We do be possessing that arrogance.
In essence, they are simple jellyfish, a travesty of nerves that stems from an inferior brain, piloting a suit of bone, wrapped in decaying meat. It is their arrogance that I enjoy so much. They were never meant for the stars, yet they do all to conquer each parsec. They fight amongst themselves more than any enemy. Tranquility makes them squirm. They lived for war.
I hate that. True.
The humans built colonies throughout their nearest worlds, a slow process due to their primitive spacecraft. They continue to do what they do best, build and breed. Worlds are terraformed and colonized. Sublight travel was their archaic way of colonization, each colony drifting farther from the home world of Terra. Overexpansion resulted in loss of communication. It was only a matter of time before this formula would collapse into bedlam and chaos.
Yeah, we're already seeing, like, a lack of communication. Well, I am anyway. Like, all this social media and phones and whatnot. You know, like if you were gonna go meet your mate down in the pub, you'd be like, oh well, I'll see you there at 10 o'clock, and you know, you did. You didn't have to, you know, text someone, and you know, you don't have to meet anyone nowadays. You can stay in contact, and a lot of people are now having this really severe anxiety about being around people, and it's so saddening to hear that there is like basically this plague of just people losing their sense of wanting to be around people, or it's like more of a sense of fear of being around people. Yeah. Anyway, enough of that ramble. Let's continue.
As the years drifted on, countless interstellar empires emerged, trading throughout the galaxies. Most of these supposed empires bore me. They prosper for such short spans of time. One does not even need to remember their futile existence.
Fair.
The humans furthered their grasp on nature, bending any resources they could find to their greed. Colonies stretched into the vast reaches of solar systems, overextending their empire. The myths of the Emperor continue to grow. It is said the Emperor arrived on Molech and found a portal into the Immaterium. A deal was made with the Chaos Gods for the gift of knowledge of warpcraft, allowing the Emperor to create the Primarchs.
Oh, that's something I've never heard before.
The Eldar Empire had grown into the most advanced civilization in the universe.
No.
They had achieved the apex of technology, creating their own desires from will alone. Lesser races proved no threat to their domination of the stars.
I know where this is going and I hate it.
The human gene saw an evolutionary jump. There were sudden appearances of psychers, as they call them. Cursed individuals who can draw power from the Immaterium. Humans who developed the navigator gene allowed the first human navigators to make the passage through the warp. The great navigator bloodlines controlled warp travel. The humans continued to explore and colonize all that they found. Treaties were signed with dozens of xeno races. It was truly a golden age for humanity.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
Technology often gets the better of the primitive species that craft it. The promises of comfort and ease of existence
What was I just
has
saying?
led to the downfall of dozens of species. It was then that man's greatest creations, their slaves, turned on their masters in force.
A common
The
theme.
cybernetic revolt, as it was once called, started with the men of iron.
Oh, that's scary.
Anarchy ripped throughout all of humanity. The golden age of humanity ended in brutality. Who knows how many billions lost their lives, or what technology was destroyed in the process. Across the stars, another empire fell to time. The Eldar had enjoyed their moment of success. Technology was not their downfall. Their own
Themselves.
desires tore them apart.
Dirty
Sheer
bastards.
physical impulses and depravity broke them. Their yearning for lust and pleasure cursed their kind. The being that spawned from their depravity forever changed the course of the stars. It was then that the being known as Slaanesh came to be. The Eye of
Enslaved to
Terror that
them.
came to be from the creation of Slaanesh obliterated almost all of the Eldar. She who thirsts, as some have called Slaanesh, feasted on billions of Eldari souls. Some of the Eldari foresaw the dark future and left their homeworlds behind. The
Good for
craft
them.
worlds were all that was left of them now. Vast, floating cities that are slowly fading away.
Oh.
As a fan of theatrical renditions of historical events, I find the performances from this era to be especially entertaining.
Bit sadistic.
The
but
humans
okay.
had peaked in their scientific advances. The historical blueprints, or as they are more commonly known, the standard template constructs, became the database of all human technology. Humanity was plagued with warp storms, that appeared throughout the far reaches of the galaxy. Warp travel was impossible, and the colonies began to erode. This is a difficult time for my collection. Almost all the important artifacts had been stolen by that damned Mechanicus.
Oh. Wait a second. So, wait. Were the Mechanicus around during the Dark Age of technology? Just kind of trying to get my timeline in order here. And he's saying that they were stolen, his artifacts were stolen by the Mechanicus. Now, did they... I don't think they could have gone to his world, where all the Necrons are, and stolen it personally. So, is it they stole stuff from Earth? Did they take technology that was maybe no longer being used, or had been considered bad? I'm not entirely sure. Someone please clarify. Ooh, this is getting juicy.
Ugh, if only I were awake during this time. The humans are easy candidates for the corruptive powers that inhabit the warp. Through the warp storms, psychic energy flowed into space. The weaker of humanity's psychers suffered from demonic possession. The human race tore itself apart.
Yeah, that was obvious.
The Emperor of Mankind began his plans for domination. He began work on creating the gene seeds that would lead to the formation of his 20 sons, or as they are more commonly referred to, Primarchs. Imperial record fails to state exactly how this event occurred. It only states the Primarch embryos were scattered throughout the galaxy. All blame is laid at the feet of the Chaos Gods for this deed. But who can really say? The Emperor
Chaos God to begin with. That's just... Okay. Enough of my spiraling thoughts. Let's keep going.
Even that miserable little pile of secrets Urakin was awakened. However, this was not our time to reclaim our galaxy. What a time to be awake, to witness this short era of grandeur.
That's good.
This story of this era contains artifacts that are amongst my favorites in all of my museum.
Oh, I love hearing it
The
from
warp
him.
storms that plagued mankind for over 5,000 years drifted away. The Emperor of Mankind was known as the greatest psyker in history. He united the people under his rule during the Unification Wars. He made a pact with the cult Mechanicus on Mars.
Cool.
He expanded the human empire while discovering his wayward sons. The blood that was spilled was that of legend. The humans had set to take hold of the galaxy, swallowing everything in their path. Unity was always their strength.
Yeah.
Yet, they denied it at every chance they could.
What does that mean?
The Emperor was the key to their survival. He colored his legions and sent his sons to fight his wars.
Well, that was a nice image.
I witnessed such glorious battles during this period. So much occurred during these times. So much to record, to document, to preserve. The artifacts from this era are amongst some of my favorites. The Primarchs had been found and sent on their various quests for the Emperor. The Great Crusade had come to an end. Humanity had become the dominant life in the universe. Imperial history recording events during these times had been subverted. So much has been altered to appease the masses, to appease the Inquisition and the religious maniacs. What is known as fact is the Emperor's favorite son, Horus, had betrayed the Emperor. He and half of his brothers rebelled against the Imperium, and I was there to see it play out. The Battle of Istvan III was where the treachery transpired, with blade and firearm. To see the armored warriors battle, brother against brother, it was as beautiful as it was tragic.
I bet. That's a family feud.
I remember being impressed by the humans. My theory of their hatred of peace was proven once again. How they loved to fight. The eternal war had begun.
Tired of hearing that.
Above Terra, another civil war had already begun brewing. The Mechanicum split into two. The Red Robes believe in a being they named the Omnisire. Many believe the Emperor was not the true avatar of the machine god. Many believe that the Emperor is, in fact, the Omnisire made flesh. An epic battle took place above what the humans had once called the Earth. The traitor sons of the Emperor invaded the human homeworld. They had come to kill the Emperor and take control of the Imperium. This was a staggering battle for beings such as humans. The final battle occurred between Horus and the Emperor after millions were killed by their blood brothers. The final blows were landed by the Emperor and his favorite son Horus. A clash that left the Emperor fatally wounded. It is a shame what happened. The Emperor slew Horus, who, in fairness, had it coming. Much to my annoyance, those loyal to Horus managed to steal his remains away. How I wished to have Horus's armor in my collection. I have spent many centuries harvesting rumors of the remains of the arch-traitor.
Okay, so he's almost implying that there are some remains of Horus, and everything I've watched to this point says that he was just crushed to dust. There was literally nothing left after the Emperor saw him kill his other son. So this is an interesting take from someone who was actually alive at the time of this all going on. Who to believe? Very interesting. Okay.
The fatally wounded Emperor was interred in the Golden Throne, a technological marvel from humanity's old world. Technology the Mechanicus hardly understood.
Oh, and another thing. I didn't know that the Adeptus Mechanicus were split into two, so this is also news for me. Was there one side that supported Terra and the other side didn't? Is this the main difference here? Obviously there's the religious beliefs, which are probably the main differences. Okay, but I'm talking about in fact of whose side did they take in all of this. Okay. I'll wait for your answer on that one.
This was the end of the human reign of superiority. It had come to a glorious finale.
Didn't last long.
The fact that I'm reasonably confident that the Golden Throne is our technology is not important. The times following the Horus heresy were boring in comparison. Humans fell back once again into predictability. It was black or white from then on.
Okay. Boring.
The Loyalists gradually reclaimed the Imperium, pushing the traitor forces that aligned with the Chaos Gods back into the warp.
Oh, they're gonna regret that.
The 9 Loyalist Space Marine legions are divided and began their own quest throughout the galaxy. The humans desperately wanted their place at the top. As they struggled, other races grew in strength across the galaxy. The Drukhari had formed back when Slanesh the Depraved was birthed. They saw the event as inevitable and accepted their evolutionary destiny. They are a brutal race, arrogant, hedonist, and vile for the sake of nefariousness. There were none in the galaxy who rivaled their cruelty. A slave in the city of Komorra named Vect swore to be the ruler of the Dark City. He was ambitious and founded his own group known as the Cult of the Black Heart.
Cool name.
With a devious plan, he betrayed the leaders of Komorra and had the humans kill his enemies. With the leaders weakened, Vect took power and led the Dark Elder. What he led them towards is unknown. These beasts created nothing, they offered nothing. They reveled in suffering just as the Catan did.
Wow.
They are beneath our regard, but have earned our disgust.
Oh gosh, yeah. Don't even want to think about what they do to other beings if they come across them. No. 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 And so they tricked someone? I didn't quite catch that part. It's like they tricked humans into fighting other Eldar? I'm lost at that part, I'm afraid. I didn't quite catch that. Might have to go back and watch that bit again. Let's watch that again. Komorra, also called the Dark City, is the massive city-state within the Webway that is the primary home of the Dark Eldar, or Drukhari, kindred of the Eldari species. It's impossible for outsiders to find, apparently. Okay. Huh? Isn't that his home? The leader? Isn't that where they're all from, this Dark Eldari? They're kind of like, or Dark Elder, sorry, Drukhari or Dark Elder. Eldari were the first, I guess, that we saw. Or I don't know, can I call them Dark Eldari? I don't know why I just said that, but hey, I'm asking the question. But yeah, I'm gonna need some clarification on that part. I did recognize the name Komorra, but yeah, I love how I was like, who's this? Oh dear.
The Orcs attempted to claim their position at the top of the evolutionary chain.
The boys.
The ancient race had swelled in numbers over the millennia. An Orc war boss known as the Beast built an impressive army that rampaged the universe. It was during this time that the Greenskins became a threat to all. I find them to be similar in some ways to the humans, warring against each other, obsessed with power, obsessed with what both races call loot. Loot. What a crude word. Both believe their technology to be superior to all. Another life form that idolizes the spirit of war, the Astartes, were able to stop the Green Wave at great costs, however.
Astartes.
A new species emerged from the dust of the cosmos. The Flesh Robotics first discovered the Tau on a distant world. The Adeptus Mechanicus ship, Land's Vision, found the primitive species.
Okay.
The blue creatures were simple in nature, having only learned to use simple tools and fire.
They look cute.
Simple creatures that were of no threat, but still, their elimination was ordered as they were to be destroyed for the good of the Imperium.
Great.
Before the planet could be annihilated, it was surrounded by a violent warp storm. The wars soon to take place changed the fate of their world. The Imperium abandoned their plans for colonization and left the species to their fate.
Okay.
I am sure the Imperium uses this story to drive their agendas. The Tau were able to unite under one banner. They claimed to stand for the cause of the greater good. a seemingly effective form of governance. As the centuries passed, the Tau built their empire,
Badass.
diving into different castes. You may encounter them. They will speak of all these castes. Bar 1, the Ethereals. These ruling beings are conveniently forgotten about in the Tau propaganda. These faceless elites are the true ruling class of the Tau. The Fire caste are the fist used to quell rebellion. The Earth caste show off their medical capabilities to lowly serfs. The Air caste blockade worlds and offer free transports. And of course, the Water caste, those silver-tongued diplomats. They promise so much to anyone with the oral receptors to hear. These upstart fledgling fools must learn to tread carefully. They do not have the ability to confront the Imperium that they berate.
Oh, okay.
Only Father Time will tell whether these masters of masquerade will live or die.
I'm gonna say die.
Another rise in power for the awful orcs.
'Cause everyone does.
Centuries of crusading had weakened the Imperium. Humanity teetered on the verge of collapse.
Oof.
The orc invasions were relentless. Even worse, the more the orcs suffered, the more they grew.
Wow.
Countless star systems fell to the green wave. It is their chaotic nature that holds them back from remaining atop their evolutionary chain. A culture predicated on the desire to be bigger and stronger than the rest can only go so far without true governance. Even with their simplicity, the damage they caused almost destroyed the humans. It was not our time to rise. Our armies were set to awake at a later date.
I'll see what they're doing. They're being all sneaky, these little Necrons. Is it the first species that are actually trying to be clever and not be overcome by their emotions?
However, our tomb worlds were invaded by the Adeptus Mechanicus on their quest to find the lost standard template constructs. They discovered our tomb worlds. Their curiosity and their degradation of the slumber protocols led to countless members of our race awakening. 65 million years of slumber. It was our time to rule the galaxy once more, to reclaim what we had died for.
Curiosity
our metallic
killed them.
bodies regenerated. Our weaponry was to mortals what the storm was to the stone. More of our tombs were awakened. Our armies began their conquest. The Silent King took back his rightful seat on the throne. It is our time once again.
Fair.
How the humans love to hold their martyrs up for all to see. No single world is a greater martyr than Cadia. In truth, I had believed the Terran method of time recording, BC, stood for before Cadia. They speak of this planet so often during battle. It was a world of much importance to the Imperium, and to be frank, the galaxy.
Cadia.
The fall of Cadia is a loss.
Oh.
It was a weapon designed to remove the warp from our reality. Its loss must be lamented. During the 13th Black Crusade, the War Master of Chaos, Abaddon the Despoiler, single world is a greater martyr than Cadia. In truth, I had believed the Terran method of time recording, BC, stood for before Cadia. They speak of this planet so often during battle.
Yeah, I've heard
it was a world of much importance to the Imperium, and to be frank, the galaxy. The fall of Cadia is a loss.
No!
It was a weapon designed to remove the warp from our reality. Its loss must be lamented.
Who created a weapon to destroy the warp? And did it backfire and destroy Cadia? Is that what he's trying to say?
During the 13th Black Crusade, the War Master of Chaos, Abaddon the Despoiler, launched a massive assault against the Loyalists. A unfathomable war broke out, and the planet was eventually destroyed.
Oh man.
It was a significant loss for the Imperium, losing such a beautiful world to their own traitorous kind.
Not surprising though.
One of the greater threats faced by the mortal races of the galaxy are the beings we labeled the Great Devourers, the Tyranids.
Oh
The
yeah, we
humans
haven't heard
named
them
them the
yet.
Tyranids after their attack and consumption of Tyrant Primus. Revolting insectoid creatures that swarm world after world, consuming everything that stands in their path. All life is consumed by these creatures, consumed, studied, and improved on. Though they appear as mindless animals, they are sublimely clever beings. They
Hive
have
mind.
demonstrable hierarchies. They adapt and evolve in the moment to conquer any situation. Little is known of their history. There are no records of them before the Great Sleep. They
Okay.
appeared from the deepest reaches of space. The humans first discovered the creatures in the eastern fringes.
So does that mean that there could be other species out there that we just don't know about yet in the Warhammer universe? Because he's saying, you know, nothing's known about the Tyranids. They just came from deep space. Who's to say something else won't? Something worse or something to help us? Who knows?
Rumor has been said that they were first seen by the Inquisition as far back as the 35th millennium. Speculation and rumors, of course, but I still enjoy this discord. It is said that they have begun to surround our galaxy, ready to unleash their own conquest, after being drawn by the Emperor's light within the void. I cannot say if this is true or not. Others believe they are being pushed back, chased into our regions of space. All of this poses a great question. Are these beasts coming to this galaxy after having consumed everything they could in their own? Or, and this is not the ideal case, are they running from something greater?
I called it. I said, is there something else out there? Better or worse? The fact it could get worse is mildly concerning. Huh. But I do have a question. Why aren't the Necrons, if they are also powerful, why aren't they just taking on the Tyranids? Or have the Tyranids not reached them yet? Let's continue.
If they continue their rude interruption of the drama that is the galaxy's unfolding history, I may have to add a new section to the gallery. Perhaps I will name it A Brief History of the Tyranid Species.
Okay, he's confident. Or does he mean it because it's brief because he knows
The
nothing of it?
universe is at unrest. The rapidly growing threats to the galaxies have increased as the weak find power. All of us are grasping for our rightful place on the throne of the universe. All empires rise and fall.
Yep,
It is the destiny of all life to fade away.
yep. Just who goes away the fastest is the
Life
question.
is a struggle for all who have fought to survive. Even the smallest of life forms face this turmoil. The weak become dust in the infinite darkness, never to be remembered. To rank which species stand at the top would be irrelevant in the current turmoil. They all cling to their spot, each battle and war gaining favor, or falling to the side to rise again. The great empires of the past have all earned their place in my halls. They each have a place in the history of the galaxy. The future of the universe will continue. Others will try to gain their spot, as did all the great empires of the past. It is a pitiful attempt.
Just a grab for
All
power.
life will wither and die. There is only one race that will succeed them all. We are immortal.
Okay,
We
got
have
it.
learned from our mistakes.
Biased.
We will rule our galaxy once again. But humanity, in its rapidly breeding expansion, has offered us what we never thought possible. A means to return to the flash times. We are the infinite.
How would we do that? No! Don't go! Tell me more! I need to know more. Thank you so much, Warrior Tier. That was top notch. That was brilliant. I enjoyed that so much. Oh, you got little Patreons. That's congratulations. That's awesome. Wow, wow, wow. We learned a lot today. Thank you, Trazyn the Infinite, for sharing pieces from your museum. Lovely. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to process all of that, like, right now. And yeah, it's absolutely... it's mind-blowing to me, all of this. I learned some new parts, which is really, really great. Some parts that I hadn't been mentioned in other kind of introductions to the 40k universe, so it's nice every time that you watch it from a different point of view. You're learning something a little bit different from a different point of view. Just a little bit more information. You're getting the wider picture, although I'm saying that the picture is massive. You know, the war, the universe with all these species, it's massive. It's like, it's too much. I'm gonna have to pick something that I'm interested in and just dive into that. And yeah, we're gonna keep going with our quest for knowledge. And I thank you so much, everyone, for being here and being on this journey with me. I greatly appreciate it. And let's keep going. Let's keep diving into the darkness of what is Warhammer 40k, and who knows what it'll be next time. We're gonna probably be doing something a little bit different to an introduction. I'm gonna go maybe into a faction a bit deeper and see where we go. But anyway, guys, you know what to do. Leave a like and subscribe. Let me know you love me, because I love you back, and I will see you again very soon for more Warhammer. Take it easy.